Geling can share some thoughts after you see the movie.
It's the first time, right? Really? It's the first time he saw this movie.
Yeah, this is the first time. But I knew about this event, the real event. Yeah, I was very, I was just, shocked by the story, and was still shaking now. Yeah, it's a very strong movie, very very sad movie. But I remember the last sentence the mother said to the son was, "Don't be afraid. We will be always together." In this way, she brings the three of them together in the world, then they reunite the three of them. So it's it's such a regret that makes me feel that, because Chinese people are so 要面子, so face value is so important, and certain things they don't want to talk openly, even among the closest friends. So we even 骂人, say 你有病啊, 对吧? English is crazy. We don't treat our bodily being and mentally being as equal. Actually, they are equal. I see them as software and hardware. Hardware gets sick, and everybody sympathize with them. But mentally sick, and people shun away. This is this. I think this is the behavior of ignorance. It's a provincialism. So it's uneducated, and we should treat every part of us equally. Your body can get flu, and your mind can get flu too. And so I used to be the patient of the mental health facility, and I was, it runs in our family that my grandmother, or my grandfather, and my father both are very creative and very productive, and they both suffered bipolar disorders, and so did I. And I wrote so many books because of it. It's like the peaks are so wonderful. You enjoy all these like a fountain. The creativity and your imagination running wild. Then you can I was working in very early morning. I could finish 7,000 words a day. But this is not normal. Not everybody can fictionalize, can picture all these, to make to create this world that's not existing. This, to see it as this sickness. It's one symptom of this illness. So I enjoyed it. I benefit from it. But you can't say that part of myself is awful. I want to kill it. This everything that's bad on the other side of the badness is a goodness, right? So I came to the term with myself, and then when I went to this doctor who was a young woman, just a graduate from the medical school, and then she diagnosed that the insomnia I suffered, I had suffered from since 22, was not just insomnia. It was one phase of the bipolar disorders. And I told her that my grandfather committed suicide at 41, at the peak of his career. Before that, he got the PhD in the US and went back to be a professor and had a family, so he killed himself. Because back then, even fewer people wanted to talk about this. They think it's such a big shame and stigma. So now it came to me, and I also inherited his creativity and everything. Even this, my aunt said, "You are just like, it's a female version of my father." So then I went to this doctor, and the doctor told me what the real problem I had, and she said, I'll give you 3 kind of medicines that will cut the peaks and the low bottoms, so you will stay, pretty much, evenly, and but the choice is that you might become just like one of us, one of us. You will not have that crazy creativity anymore, or you will just suffer like these different episodes. You're up, you're good, you're like, you're like so gifted, so incredibly creative, or you will drop into a bottom, you might kill yourself. She said, you have to make choice. You take medicine or not. I said, I'll take the medicine. I want to be a normal person. That's my, back then, that was my, the, everything, yeah.
Try that. It's a microphone problem.
I want to trade to get this, to be normal. And because I don't want the people around me suffer from my illness too, So then after, like, according to my husband, on the 11th day, I woke up telling him, that dark cloud is gone. It's like I'm all of a sudden from the diving from the deep, the bottom of the sea and the dark sea, immediately floating up. So medicines, they were invented and made for people to take. We should face it. We should accept the sick self. So this is my experience. I told many people in the Asian societies 20 years ago. I said, see, I'm still here, I'm still writing, I'm still creative, but I create different stories. These stories are much stronger, much with more light. The characters can, it's different from the time before I took pills. So I think as the science evolve, the more medicines will come out. And when you face the darkest moment, when you openly talk about it and tell your friend, tell your family, it's much less pain. Yeah. So my husband supported me and all the way through, and so understanding, so much sympathy, so much love, so much acceptance. Yeah, so here I am, still a writer, still working on the most important pieces in my life. Okay, see, this is what
Closer till we're gone, swallowed whole by the blazing